Hello, I'm the anime viewer 666, and today we're going to be taking a look at a movie that had so much potential, but sadly fell flat. That's right, the 2017 Death Note. Now, before we get started, I'm going to say that the number one problem with this little movie is that it tries to be faithful to the original material while also changing a ton of things. I don't really think you can do both of those things and get away with it. Should have either committed to making it a completely different thing altogether or just made it a completely faithful remake. I would have probably been less angry with it if they just decided to go out and do their own thing completely, just have new characters, new everything, and not be tied down to the original material. Just have the Death Note. In fact, what I thought would be really cool is if they had an anthology thing where the movie would just follow the Death Note going from owner to owner to owner, and we see what these different people in these different situations would have done with the Death Note. Sadly, that is not the route they went, and we got a steaming piece of garbage. The story overall is pretty simple. It's a cat and mouse game, or at least it's supposed to be. The actual story overall is supposed to be you have a Death Note, a guy gets the Death Note, goes power mad, and then goes up against the world's greatest detective to be able to see who will win in the end, the cat or the mouse. It's supposed to be pretty simple, but pretty entertaining with these big epic showdowns of wit and intelligence. Not in this version. Not in this version at all. The first big problem is they tried to make Light too much of a good guy. Now, you can argue if in the original one, Light was supposed to be seen as the good guy or the bad guy. They sort of leave it up to your discretion. You get to decide if you saw him as the hero or the villain or whatever. But in this version, they want you to see Light as the good guy. They give him so many outs and be like, no, he's good because this, and he didn't mean for this to happen, and all of this wasn't his fault. He's just trying to make it better, and all that is not Light's character. He's supposed to be a power mad dude with a god complex. He's not supposed to be a goody two shoes. The second big problem is, well, they added the girlfriend character. Why? I don't even bother to care for the name. Adding the girlfriend character, even in the original anime, in my opinion, was a bad move. I hate that character. Adding a love interest into a cat and mouse epic story like this is not a good idea. Do not do it. Then there's the L in this movie. I actually kind of like this L, though they do make him a bit too crazy at times for his own good, and I don't feel that he is quite as intelligent as L needs to be, but the actor that portrayed him did a fairly good job, at least as far as body language goes. And getting the body language of such a crazy character down with such a high intelligence is a tough thing to do, so I very much appreciate that at the very least. Then there was Ryuk. They got this character amazingly well done. He's different, though not worse. That is the key point there. His design is really cool, but I feel that they made him less of a bored deaf god as he was in the original one, and more of a demon, a trickster, someone who's playing pranks on the world that just happen to be very deadly, if you will. If anyone has ever seen Gontaro Dim from the Hearts of Stone DLC from the Witcher 3 game, he's very similar to that in nature, and that's a good thing in my opinion. I liked Demon Ryuk. I like plotting, scheming Ryuk. Well, I don't know if really plotting and scheming is the right word. He just seems more like he's cunning and more involved, even though for a lot of it he does just seem to stay in the background and just watch. It just seems like he's more invested as opposed to the Ryuk in the anime, which was just bored with life and was just doing all this just to get some entertainment. Like in the original one, this was his version of turning on the TV and watching some weird television show. It's really, really cool how that these two different Ryuks can be different, yet both at the same time equally as entertaining, at least in my opinion. There was a running joke throughout this entire little thing where they were saying there's so many rules in the Death Note, there's so many rules, so many rules. But the whole point of the Death Note show, like the anime, was that it was this big epic battle, and the rules helped to set out a layout for the game. Like, you can't have a big epic game if you can just change the rules at a fly by just saying, oh, there's this other thing in here, and this other thing in here, and this other one that goes this, and all that. You have to lay out the rules at the beginning so that we know everything and we can basically be like, oh, this and this, so this and this may happen. We know it from the beginning. And they also took away something that I thought would have been cool to see in this movie. The whole idea of if you give up like half your lifespan, then you can see someone's name and their how long they have to live above their head. Similar, the Shinigami eyes, as I believe they called it in the original. It's been a while since I've seen it, so I'm not sure the exact name. But they didn't add that, and I thought that would have been a cool thing to add. Maybe they didn't have time for it in the story. Maybe they thought the effect would be too expensive to like make. I don't know, but it would have been cool in my opinion to see it. Honestly, I could go on 5 hours about why I hate this movie and just all the little tiny inconsistencies, plot holes, and downright horrible character choices. But I think I've proven my point of why it is truly something you should avoid for now. Until next time, I am the Anime Viewer 666. Thank you, and good night.